Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to another club debate. And today we are brought to you by Super 6 and we are with some absolute legends. Of course, Rory and Buvey are here, but also Flav is back in this house.
Yep.
The man with 7 podcasts these days.
Yeah,
He's absolutely kicking them out there.
What do you want me to say? Yeah, I've got 7 podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm working hard. The buzz around Spurs is, it's through the roof at the moment. So you should make hay while the sun
You're
shines.
4th, aren't you?
Everyone's very excited though.
Fourth and trophyless season. 7
Can I just
podcasts.
point you
the
to
FA Cup.
Right, hang on there. Look, can I just get this out there right now? I don't know if you've seen that 2 players in the one transfer window have turned down both Bayern Munich and Barcelona to join
Mate,
Tottenham.
the amount of time
money.
you've absolutely
money.
blew your best point that you were going to make in the debate in the intro.
No, I just wanted to make
Done
it.
it. Can I do that again?
Absolutely
I
done
just
yourself
want to
in
make
there.
it clear that
No
the
repetition, man. You can't
times
say
have
that again.
changed.
You
Times have
can't say
changed.
You've
that.
also tweeted that, so I feel like it's a bit mental.
I don't need to mention it again.
You
I'm
say
just
on your
saying
7 podcasts.
everyone's on notice. Everybody in the Premier League's on notice.
Yeah. And we're also here with one of the filthy fellas, Mr. Miles, on the club loads now.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you, man. I've got a new podcast as well.
Oh, have you?
The boxing one with Dan. Man.
Yes.
Yeah, got nice.
Where is
Boxing.
that? Is it out yet?
Yeah, it's out. It's out now.
Check that out.
Check that out, man.
I used to have a boxing podcast with Dan, so
We're gonna get you on there.
I am a part
I
of a
feel a
boxing
bit
podcast.
cheated on.
He's upgraded.
Yeah, I feel a bit
You're the
cheated on.
Nokia. He's
Nah, we're
gone with
definitely
an
gonna get you on
iPhone.
there.
Yeah, but what's going on? Where was my phone call?
Nah,
now?
you was in the top 3 list of getting guests on, man.
Oh, but not the
Top 3, not even top.
Flip the lips upside
Yeah,
down.
that means I was
Also, that
dead.
means third
I
as
was
well, 'cause
third,
he would've said top 2 otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise it's top 2. Yeah, we're here actually talking about top 3s, top 2s. We're going to start off with the top 10 worst Premier League signings of all time. And I feel like me and Rory dominate this list with our players and things that we've got. But there's so many to talk about, so many different signings, so many different eras as well. There's a lot of players that we'll forget about. But if you remember the feeling when they signed for whatever club they signed for, how that felt, we'll get into all that. But lads, you've got your top 10s prepared?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, ready
Yeah.
to go, mate.
Ready to go. Ready to kill.
Yeah. Ready to get stuck in? Should we go from 10? Who wants to start?
Can I just chuck this one in there because no one else will have it because it's probably the least interesting, but because it's Spurs, I'll put it in there. Soldado.
No,
Why?
I could easily do a top 10 of Tottenham. Roberto Soldado, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, we agreed.
Undoubtedly.
Okay, fine. So, but my reasoning would
Is he
be,
in yours?
No, but
Oh,
I backed the shout now. I didn't think of him because he was so insignificant.
Did he
but-
sign when you got the Gareth Bale money?
Yes,
Yeah, he was one of the 7.
He
yeah.
was one of the
Oh,
men.
then you can't put him on that list.
The Magnificent
Yeah,
Seven.
because there was so many.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
So when we signed him, we were buzzing, right? And for good reason. The evidence would have suggested at the time that he was only Ronaldo and Messi had more goal Wait, hang on. Why are you? I'm going to let me make my point. Only Ronaldo and Messi had more goal contributions than Soldado in Europe.
Nice.
So we're like 26 million. Let's get him in. This geezer's obviously good. As it turned out, he wasn't very good. He was terrible. I remember I think he was playing Leicester or Everton. And he scored the equaliser, and he literally was so stressed out about not being able to score for Tottenham that he ran the length of the pitch with his arms out. And we were celebrating, and he was still celebrating after we stopped. He was that buzzing.
When it gets to a point where it's kind of like ironic cheers and stuff like that for a player.
No,
We
but
was
you
just-
know when you
Van
go
Gogh
mad.
getting a
It was-
bit
Yeah,
like-
we did it with Torres. You
It was
go
desperate.
potty.
It's
you go
desperation.
mad.
It's
Yeah.
desperation, isn't it? Yeah.
But Soldado, the defining moment of his Tottenham career, there was an away game he played in Europe.
Fiorentina.
He played away in Europe. I remember the moment. And that is the microcosm of his career at Tottenham, isn't it?
He went through on goal. We needed a goal
He
desperately.
didn't even shoot.
There were 2 of them running through, and he managed to find the goalkeeper. And you're like, he's done.
Without those failures, though, you would never have had a Harry Kane up top.
Well, this is the thing, and this is why a lot of this we have to talk about this list, right? Is because it didn't matter that Soldado was rubbish at Tottenham because Harry Kane was coming through, and it just created an opportunity for him to come through. So we remember that time fondly, even though he was absolute dog tripe.
Miles, 10?
My 10th player on my list was an Arsenal player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any lot will have him on there, or you might have him on there.
Pepe.
I think no way.
Pepe is not in my top 10, you know.
No
really.
No, he's
What?
not in my top 10.
We'll
but I thought
get
he
to him
could
when we
be.
talk
No
about
way.
him.
Pepe's
Mustafi.
bad, man.
Mustafi.
Yeah, Mustafi.
God, how much did you buy him for?
I think how much was it for?
35 million from Valencia.
Yeah, they robbed us. They robbed us from the minute he joined us. Or joined our club. They robbed us. Like this guy, he can't defend. He couldn't play at the back. The system when Unai Emery came and he tried to get him playing at the back for a little bit, shocking. Obviously, his partnerships at the time didn't help him, and he had a rash Granit Xhaka in front of him, so that didn't help. But yeah, Squadron Mustafi was poor, man. He was at Everton at one. Was he at Everton? He was at Everton, right? Yeah, he was a young player at
Is
Everton.
that what the criteria is, isn't it? If they just move to Everton, then poor.
Poor.
They're having a poor.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, anybody
anyone that
signed
ends up
by
there.
Mashiri. Yeah.
Poor.
Yeah, Squadron Mustafi, man. I think he's one of Arsenal's poorest signings, man. No, there's
There's loads, man.
I could do a 20 list instead of 10.
Yeah, we should just do
I-
20 Arsenal trials. We'll do that
Arsenal.
next time on the
We've had
debate. We'll
some-
do it next
That'll
time.
be fun. That
Bad
Imagine the
ones.
comments on that video, by the way.
Bad ones.
I've
Go
got
on,
one
Booth.
that's a bit of a left field shout. It's Dennis Weiss. no, honestly.
For who?
He
For
went
Leicester?
he went to Leicester City,
For
and
Leicester's a good shout.
within 6 months, he punched up his teammate. So he had his contract voided, and he was obviously a great player in his own right. He helped relegate Leicester City.
He scored a brilliant bicycle kick for Leicester, but he did break Callum Davison's jaw.
I love how angry Rory looked at that.
What?
When you mentioned it. I know
I'm
you
just
agree
gonna-
with him now, but
Yeah,
you were like, "Wait, what?"
I think when you arrive, but this is part of why I love Dennis Wise so much, because of the character that he was. He was a rogue, but he was a fantastic footballer. And when he was in your team, you loved him. But I think it's a fair shout. When you arrive, you're the new signing, and the player's been there for a while, and you break his jaw. Chances are it's not.
I was
going
going to say, the one word I would describe Dennis Wise is just spiteful.
He was a fantastic player. Do you know where he gets forgotten though? The ability that he had. It was, people would always see him as being a sort of a little bit of a nasty midfielder, but he was a fantastic ball-playing midfielder.
Hullet talking about Wise and
Kept
how he...
Didier Deschamps out of the team.
Yeah.
What
We
did
have-
Hullet say?
on this list, we have to talk about players that obviously Dennis Wise might be not for everyone, but Alvarez
it's a
to
good shout.
Middlesbrough. There's some of these transfers that relegate clubs instantly. We have to talk about some of them. It's not
Yeah.
all about Man United and Chelsea signings
You had
and Arsenal.
remember Massimo Macaroni as
Macaroni.
Yeah,
and all
they got
that.
to they got to the final of Europe,
well.
didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
So it wasn't a bad signing. That was the McLaren era.
Who's the bad one? Did you Alfonso Alves, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was the one that went to Borough from
They signed him from Herivine.
Yeah.
Yes. Got really.
That's good knowledge.
Yeah. I've gone for, because I think he has to be on the list, not necessarily because of the output, but because of the expectation. Like ultimately, what he contributed to Chelsea was a lot. And more than a lot of the players that we're going to talk about here, and a lot more than some of the players that will be left off the list altogether. But the metric of what he delivered compared to the expectation was so low,
I know exactly where you're going.
and that's Fernando Torres.
What? No, what? This low? 9.
This
Well, I'm
low?
putting him 10th because he has to be on the list,
he
and
would
this
have
is the
them in the
best
Champions
place.
League.
No, he is on the list. He's 100% on the
Yeah,
list.
he's
He's
up
just
there
not
in the
10.
list.
It's very difficult to put him
Can I
much
just
higher
ask
when
you a
he's
question,
No,
though,
10's good.
He helped you in the Champions League, right?
yeah.
Could I ask then, why wouldn't you put Kai Havertz on this list if you would put Torres on the list? Because
Pardon?
were they not equally as bad and Kai Havertz cost more?
But Kai Havertz didn't come with the expectation. The only
Okay.
reason,
Yeah, no.
the only reason that Torres is on this list, he wasn't a bad player in the way that Andrei Shevchenko could be on the list. He wasn't a bad player for Chelsea. He just didn't live up to the expectation.
I think 10th is too low because when you got Fernando Torres, he was
Champions League, bro.
no, but he was like the best striker in the league.
No,
like,
he was.
He was clear.
but look at what he achieved at
I've got
Chelsea.
Torres as number 1.
I don't think he
you're
can.
Can't be.
mental
No.
one.
Let me explain. What am I-
Pretend you haven't. Take that back.
No,
It can't be what you just
I won't-
spoiled
I
on
won't be
video.
bullied. I won't be silenced.
I won't be silenced.
Yeah, we could tell you got 7 podcasts.
In this list, yeah.
Fucking hell.
yeah.
I
There's
will
a
not-
man who will not be silenced.
I will not be silenced. Listen, the expectation when he went to Chelsea was that he was the best number 9 in Europe, if not in the top
No,
3.
you bang on you.
Yeah, he was.
He's an unreal finisher.
And it was like he turned into the worst number 9
But it's such a good
overnight.
finisher that when Carragher was mentioning the finishers and he didn't talk about Torres, it was a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come you not mentioned him?
I think because he broke Scouse hearts, didn't he? At the time, I think they now would say that they had the last laugh, and that's true. But at the time, it was the very zenith of the rivalry between Chelsea and Liverpool. Something that had been bubbling away for years. When Benitez arrived, when Mourinho arrived a few weeks later, it bubbled up. Started with Jesper Gronkiar and probably finished with Fernando Torres. So it felt like such a big moment. And then obviously we played them. Torres' debut for Chelsea was against Liverpool. They beat us.
Yeah.
Aga smashed him.
But my issue is, and when we were talking about this off camera, Buvey was like, well, no, he won the Champions League, so it doesn't matter. You're talking about his individual contribution. He was dragged to the Champions League.
He should be on the
by the
list.
rest
No,
of his teammates.
that's not quite true.
Dragged.
It is true.
No, it's
If you score against Barcelona
and
in
he
the
scored in
semi-finals,
semi-finals.
that's
Yeah, well, he had a moment of
dragging.
he had a moment of
he wasn't the
brilliance.
third choice keeper, was he?
Fernando Llorente scored
I think-
against Manchester City in the
Yeah,
in
and
the
you bottled
quarterfinal.
it. You bottled it in the final, like you
I
usually
think
do.
the important thing to do is analyse the objective as well. So Fernando Torres arrived at Chelsea to win silverware and to help Chelsea win silverware.
To score 20 league goals is what he came to do.
But he got injured as well.
Hang on, he's on the list. He's on my list. Like, he's 10th on the list.
He should be higher than 10th.
The reason why he's 10th is because he arrived, he won a European Cup. The same season we
saying that.
He didn't.
You
Chelsea
two
did.
haven't got a European
But
Cup,
but
and this guy won one for
But
them.
not only did he win the
He
European
didn't
Cup,
win one
hang on,
for them.
just-
They won him in spite of
It was a
him.
moment
In spite of him.
Okay.
He scored his Barcelona.
Okay,
Yeah,
also okay.
the best side of all
Sorry,
time.
Hang on, it's not even the end of what he did.
He didn't win it.
But it's not even the end of what happened.
So did El Nene.
He arrived, he wins a European Cup. In the same season, he wins the FA Cup. The thing is, that's not even the end of it. Like, I said the European Cup, and you said stop mentioning it. I can. Okay, I'll talk about the FA Cup that he won the same season. I'll talk about what happened the following season when we got knocked out of the Champions League, dropped into the Europa League, went to Amsterdam, beat Benfica. He scores in the final.
Can I
Like, so at one point, and I don't think it's been done since, for a week-long period, Chelsea were the reigning holders of the Champions League and the Europa League. We had both.
So what's he
Torres
doing
scored in the
Why are we even
final
talking about him then? If he was
because of the expectation.
yeah.
Because of the expectation.
He should have been a hit in the Premier League as well.
It did flop, but it didn't flop to the degree that he is the worst ever transfer signing. I think he has to be on the list, but only really because of the expectation. In terms of what he achieved, in terms of what he did for the club, if we don't bring expectation into it, he wasn't a bad player.
what the club did for him is what you should be saying.
Nino was amazing.
Scored in-
Part of the
scored in
squad.
the
He wasn't a
final.
third choice keeper, was he? He was part of the squad.
He wasn't more. He's more than.
Roy
part of
just said he
the
scored in the final. He scored in the
Scored in the final and
scored in the-
semi-final of the Champions League, final of the Europa League.
So wait, hang on. If we're talking about Kepa might come up in the list, are we going to be giving him credit for winning the Champions League as well? Are we?
No, but he never did.
He
He never
didn't.
made a
He
huge
was dropped for
contribution.
Edouard Mendy.
Edouard Mendy
He was dropped for
started.
Edouard
Didn't play a
Mendy.
minute. He didn't play a minute.
You can't prove it wrong and go my point.
Yeah.
I'm with
But
Flav.
Being dropped for
Flav, man.
Edouard Mendy is also, even if you want to say he didn't start the final and forget everything else that I've said about the FA Cup and whatever happened the following season, being dropped for Didier Drogba, if you want to frame it that way, which isn't quite what happened, but Didier Drogba starting ahead of Torres is very different to Edouard Mendy Didier Drogba starting in front of you, there's no shame.
Is it?
Edouard Mendy starting in front of you, you're clearly not great.
No, not necessarily.
Part of the squad.
Has
though.
everyone
Chelsea
got
did. He
Torres
won it
in
with
their top
Chelsea.
10?
though. He won it with Chelsea.
Has everyone got
That's
Torres
your
in their
argument.
top 10?
Not for me.
Yes, I have.
All right, I'll concede.
He's in 4 people's top 10.
I'll
as well.
concede though.
Everyone said their 10th, apart from me.
I've said 10th, yeah.
Alexis Sanchez for me in number 10.
10?
I know it's because it's a free transfer. I wasn't even going to put him on the list.
No, you're right to put him on.
But when I look at the amount of money that he cost us in terms of wages, how poor he actually was. There was a report that he turned up at Old Trafford and after like a week of training, he was like, I don't want to even be here anymore.
And how good he was at Arsenal.
How good he was at
best player of
Arsenal.
the Emirates
Best player
era.
in the league.
Best
You know
Arsenal
when he-
player of the Emirates
You
era.
know when he came in, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial were flying, yeah. Anthony Martial that season, going into December, had 10 goals, 10 assists, or maybe 1 off either way. But he was like double figures for everything.
Yeah.
And Mourinho just went yoink and put Alexis in and he stank the place out.
Yeah.
I think we played at Yeovil or somewhere like that and it was crap.
Yeah, it was his first game against
It
Yeovil
was
Town.
crap. I was there
his
in like
debut.
some dingy like away.
I can't believe it because
this guy's
also he was
useless.
like, do you know genuinely when I think of like the best players I've ever seen in the Premier League with my own eyes, he's one of them.
Yeah,
You know, I've like watched him play. I was just like, we can't deal with this geezer. We just cannot deal with it.
yeah.
And then he went to Man United, and you're just like, it's not the same bloke. I think you're right to put him on the list.
Did he win any trophies while he was there?
No, nothing.
All right.
Shocking. Shocking.
He was an abysmal player.
I think it's spot on. Putting
I
him in.
also think it could kind of like kind of point to the time where Mourinho starts to lose the dressing room as well. Obviously, he had Zlatan's big injury, which I think once you take him out of the dressing room, he lost it. But I think Alexis coming in and then maybe the young lads going,
Yeah.
who's this?
Especially
guy,
when
man?
he's not turning it on.
Yeah, he's not good. But yeah, 10th for me, Alexis Sanchez.
On to
When
the-
he
on to
came
ninth.
to United, by the way, did you think he'd rip it up?
No. Because there was a period when he was at Arsenal for at least 4 months.
They
5
wanted
months.
him out, innit?
No, it's not.
I heard his teammates wanted him out.
That might be the case, but he wasn't firing on all cylinders when you signed him. He was firing the season before that. When you lot got him, he was on a downhill spiral. I was like, okay, cool, take him. Obviously, I was upset at the same. I didn't want him to go to Man United.
Is that fair, Miles? What I said, I see him, and I could be wrong here. You'll know far better than I will. Do you think it's fair to say that he is the best Arsenal player individually of the Emirates era?
No, he isn't. He isn't.
is?
He isn't the best.
Who is
There's no, I can name you at least 5.
Go then.
No. Well, you can't name
Go five, go
five.
five.
Who, okay, let's.
Fabregas
This is a
one
good
of
game.
them. Fabregas.
No, Emirates era.
Yeah,
But did he have
Fabregas.
his best years in the Emirates era?
Of course he did.
was a
I can't
hybrid.
remember.
He had his best. He had
When
his
did
best
the
years
Emirates
at Stamford
come?
Bridge.
Yes.
What? No, he
His,
didn't.
his
Where
best
do you
Arsenal
think
years
he
were
was?
We're not
his
doing
best
this again,
Arsenal
boys.
years were
2006
Highbury, weren't
Emirates.
Yeah.
Highbury, he played like one season at Highbury.
he won the Premier League, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
No, he
he's
didn't.
right.
He
No,
didn't.
he's right. It
He
might be
didn't because he was a
Fine,
young
fine.
Fabregas.
Emirates
Remember,
is fine.
But Alexis is up there.
he's up there, but I could name you probably a
Who's
five.
the other
that's better than
four?
him.
I'm interested.
Fabregas? I'd say Fabregas. He's definitely at Emirates.
Saka?
squad.
I'm amazed that you're
No.
giving Fabregas.
No.
Saka? I'm just a question.
Boys,
Someone
Fucking
take away his
hell.
podcast.
Sorry, hang on,
Getting down to
you're
six.
You're down to 6. You've lost one.
7
You've lost the
podcasts.
If anything,
podcast.
I think-
6 podcasts.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Saka.
No,
Six
you've lost.
podcasts.
You've lost the podcast.
You lost the podcast.
Fabregas.
Nasri.
Ozil?
I wouldn't say
Hang on, Nasri contributed more than
Van
Saka
Persie?
to Arsenal.
RVP. Yeah,
shoot the messenger.
RVP.
Oh, that's what you just did to me.
Boys, what's going on?
You got 7 podcasts.
Saka's never
that's-
been as good as Alexis.
Right,
was
at
there.
the moment,
not right now,
but at the
no.
moment, Miles is doing the
Fabregas.
5 players that are better than Alexis Sanchez of the Emirates era.
Fabregas, RVP, Santi Cazorla.
No,
What do you mean no?
no, he's not better than Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal.
Santi
Definitely not.
Cazorla was
What about
way
Ozil?
more influential.
Definitely not.
As a
Not
player.
Cazorla.
As a player.
Ozil?
I'd say,
Ozil and Sanchez kind of go together.
Yeah,
don't
and
they?
Kind
It's
of
not.
together.
There's no
Kind of
way that
together.
Santi Cazorla was a better player for Arsenal than Alexis Sanchez. No way.
But I think generally your point, right? He's
Yeah.
one of, if not the
if
best.
anything, he's
top
fifth.
5.
If anything, he's fifth.
Well, you just named 2.
I'd say Ozil than Alexis. Then. No, I didn't. I named 3.
You named
I named
2
3.
and
I
you
named
got one
3.
wrong.
RVP, Fabregas, Santi Cazorla.
Yeah, but they're wrong. You're naming footballers, but they're wrong in this circumstance.
I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
man. I'm right, man.
Yeah, Xhaka. Like, there's loads of Arsenal,
No.
loads of Arsenal players.
No, you're right.
Yeah, Wiltord.
No, you're right. He was a great player for Arsenal. And there was even a point there. There was even a point of time that we was comparing him to Hazard. Remember that little debate? Who's better? Who's the better left winger?
think
him
he's
or
better than Hazard.
Like he was a great player, but
He's a
Man
great
United
player
they
for
didn't
Arsenal.
get
Yeah.
they didn't get half that player.
Number 9. Why are you going?
While
with
I'm
this?
here, this is a Chelsea player, and this is a player, boys, that I believe that before he went to Chelsea, his expectation was extremely high. I think everybody at Chelsea thought he was going to be the new John Obi Mikel or Essien, or even a Makelele because he played in that role. Bakayoko. The expectations of Bakayoko before he came to Chelsea was extremely high.
Everyone wanted him.
Everyone
I
wanted
had
him.
him. I had him in the list. I had him in the list, and I remember how good he was at Monaco. But that Monaco side was incredible.
Yes, it was.
And then you realise that he was just
A passenger.
in that amazing side, and it just goes to show, like Fernando Torres, he can benefit a lot with a good
Yeah.
team around.
It's funny how Chelsea get the kind of short end of the stick with that one because we got Bernardo Silva, PSG got Mbappe, Liverpool got Fabinho. How did Chelsea mess that up?
Rory, Bakayoko. Like you said, you got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean,
was Fabinho there? If we won at Liverpool,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Liverpool.
Fabinho, yeah.
could have took him.
Yeah, I know. And obviously, Buvey's correct. But Bernardo Silva, I think, is
Crazy.
the jewel in the crown of that.
Yeah, man.
And I rate Fabinho really highly. With Bakayoko, it was so bad. It really was. Do you know it got to the stage, which I think is the worst thing that you can ever say about a player? I sort of felt sorry for him. You know when you're kind of like, oh God, just get him off the pitch. Like he just isn't. He's not meant to be there. And it was really weird because we played Tottenham. We played Tottenham our first away day of the season, and it was their first home game of the season, and it was their year. They were playing at Wembley that year. It was the day Marcos Alonso scored 2. We won 2-1. We beat them when it was meant to be their homecoming to Wembley. And all
What are
that.
you doing?
I'm just making sure that you remember.
Right, no, I remembered it as soon as you started talking about it. I remembered it.
And Bakayoko was amazing. That day played really well, and that was it. He was. I think this is a correct. The only reason I would say that maybe he's not on the list is just because it was so bad. It's almost like,
That's why he should be on it.
yeah, I know, but it's kind of insignificant.
I know what
It's
you're
kind
talking
of it's
about.
kind of insignificant. Like there isn't.
The expectation wasn't as big because he was quite a young player.
No, but
This
I
is
remember
not
there
as
was a
Torres.
bit, you know.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a
there
bit.
was hype. Of course, there's
Yeah,
hype.
there
That's
was
why he
hype.
went in the
There
first
was-
It was
place.
a bit like
It's a bit like
he did
Casemiro.
have
10 years, did he?
Dembele.
It's a,
Remember Dembele went to
yeah. To Spurs.
Yeah.
and it was kind of
It was a similar sort
kind
of thing.
Yeah.
Then he left Spurs and went to Napoli, won
But
the
it
league title.
wasn't. But it wasn't top tier expectation because he was doing it in France rather than doing it in the Premier League.
And Champions League.
Who's your ninth, Emerald?
I had one that I think is more significant, and it's a very weird one to discuss because I rate him so highly. But I've gone for Paul Pogba to Manchester United.
He should be higher than
He's
this.
in mine as
disagree
well.
with that.
He's
He's
in
higher.
mine
Easier.
as well.
Yeah, he's-
For me, like Paul Pogba isn't on the list.
I think he has to be on the list. A little bit like I was saying about Torres. I think Paul Pogba, just because of the prestige of the man, because of the expectation, and also importantly, because of the ability. So you know when I mentioned that Bakayoko I felt was fairly insignificant, ultimately it's because he wasn't very good. Whereas Paul Pogba is
Very
arguably the best footballer, arguably top 10. If we were doing the top 10 footballers,
Talent-wise,
you could, he was
incredible.
Like, the performances for France, some of the performances for Manchester
Juve.
United, the performances for Juve where they won 4 in a row. You know that cross-field driven, darting ball.
I can literally see that goal now.
It was the volley as well. He
this
scored
is
a
what
great
Adams
volley
had-
for Manchester United. His left foot, he was.
Swansea.
It was at Swansea.
He was unplayable.
He was unplayable, and that's why I think he's more interesting.
Way more, yeah.
Even if he's better than Bakayoko, but I'd rather have Pogba on the list because it's more interesting, and it's also about the expectation and the ability of the man.
Go on, I know you want to say. Because you've all got Pogba on your list, and I haven't. So while we're here, we'll talk about Pogba.
All right, so just to add on to everything that you just said, Rory, it also demonstrated a time where player power was more significant than managerial power. He won the battle against against Jose Mourinho, and Man United as an institution that was created by Alex Ferguson was gone when that happened, and that's quite a damning indictment on Paul Pogba.
Because he was very good, wasn't he? The first season he played for Manchester United, they won 2 trophies.
He scored in the European. The reason he's not in the list for me, and I'll let you guys say why he is in your list. I don't believe. I think he had an issue with Mourinho, but ultimately, I think Mourinho's problems were bigger than that. I think he lost the dressing room as a whole rather than just one player.
But Mourinho stripped him of the captaincy.
I also think
Mourinho stripped him of the captaincy. Man.
But also, if you remember that at the time, no, I think it was a big moment between the two. But I don't think that's why Mourinho lost the job, and I don't think it was all down to player power. At one point, he had Pogba, like him and Pogba. I remember being in Stockholm when we won the Europa League, and the both of them were running around like this with their arms around each other, and it was like, this is the start of something. Now, it didn't go that way, but Pogba scored in the European final that year. Pogba was also in the team of the year the following year. And he had so many, whilst I think his biggest problems for United were injuries rather than his performances. He did have bad performances, don't get me wrong. But he had so many injuries. And I do think the good outweighs, maybe the good don't outweigh the bad.
In terms of how good a footballer he is. In terms of how good, but even if you take your expectations away.
Transfer, but he's not top 10.
Take your expectations away and just focus on the ability of the man.
No, I know. He was unreal.
He's possibly, when we finish this list, I don't know where your list is going to go, but Paul Pogba will almost definitely be the best footballer on this list.
Possibly,
1,000,000%.
He what he could do on a ball. Like I said something the other day, I think when we were on the club, and it. I didn't think it through. But I was talking about Kevin De Bruyne, and I think Paul Pogba could have been Kevin. You know the way that people talk about De Bruyne? Very few players can do what De Bruyne can do. I feel like Paul Pogba could have.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba was that.
Control the game by himself.
He could control the game by himself. There wasn't a flaw in his game. Like, you know what? What could he? He could shoot from distance, pass in range beyond anybody, carry the ball, dribble fast, technically brilliant, and it's gone so wrong.
But the issue for Pogba as well is the money. We're doing a list about transfers. There has to be an equation related to the money. It's nearly 100 million quid, and this is 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 100 million quid now with the Chelsea signings, you throw it away a little bit. What's that? 150 million
think
now?
About Buvey. Think about
So
what it cost
where
Manchester
is he
United.
in your list?
He's high. He's much higher.
It's higher on my list.
If he's in top 3, don't say. But if he's a bit lower,
I better not say.
okay.
Do you know what? Maybe I'm a bit low, only because Buvey brought up the money, and he was at Manchester United. Manchester United let him go for free twice, and paid 90 million for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's expectations for me with Paul Pogba, man.
Could have had him for free.
They let him go for free twice and paid 90 million.
It's the fact you won stuff with Paul Pogba. You did. You won a Europa League trophy and you won an FA Cup, whatever.
League Cup.
League Cup, whatever it may be.
League
But the fact that the expectations, that when you got him, everybody, the whole buzz around your club in Manchester, Pogba and all that stuff. And we all,
Stormzy, wasn't
he's all dabbing and doing all this stuff and all this rubbish.
I've never dabbed in my life.
Yeah, but just
no, I'm not doing.
just doing all that.
I made it to 2024 without dabbing. I'm not letting you bring me in now.
can't
Do it
believe it.
now.
But the fact that, for me, that Pogba didn't drive you or even help you contend for a title, not at least once while he was there, is very disappointing for me.
I think, you see, because as being a Manchester United fan, I also saw that at the time with a lot of other issues with the club. That's why I've never put all the issues at Manchester United on one person, whether it be a manager or a player. And I also, at the time, used to see him getting nailed like all the time just over silly things when he was playing well.
Yeah,
and people kind of overlook him. He's not in my top 10. I don't think it was a successful transfer though. Like, a lot of people are going to comment, I don't mean, you're talking rubbish.
He should be in there though.
He's not a successful transfer, but he's not in my top 10.
And that's because you hold a sentimental.
No, because I think the players that I've got in my top 10 are a lot worse.
Okay, we'll move on.
As signings, my number 9, for example, was Jadon Sancho, because Jadon Sancho came to Manchester United for 70-odd million. unreal talent, unreal ability. I think one of the seasons at Dortmund, only Messi had more goals and assists than him. He was absolutely phenomenal, flying. And whilst he showed glimpses of it, scoring goals against Liverpool, Chelsea, etc., for Manchester United, Manchester City, like the geezer threw his toys out of the pram because he couldn't take a little bit of the manager going, he's not performed well.
No, he didn't.
And for me, no, he did, bro.
No,
Like,
we're
let's
not
be
doing
real.
that. We're not doing that.
No,
You
let's
can't blame
be
it
real.
on him, though.
No, I can. Because we're talking about...
I think it's right that you've done that.
No. Bro, I defended Jadon Sancho for a long time. Jadon Sancho, the manager last year gave him 3 months off. He sent him to the mountains again, like Gets.
Yeah.
Gave him 3 months off, put his arm around him, mollycoddled him, allowed him to do, and this is a manager that's called out Ronaldo, called out Garnacho, called out Maguire, called out Rashford. Why can't he say he's not trained well enough, he's not in my team? If you react like a little child to that, then you deserve everything that comes to you. And that's why you're back at Dortmund, in your comfort zone, in a league that's lower level than the Premier League, and you ain't going to be back at the Premier League level again. Because that's your comfort zone, bro. And you got pulled out of it, and you couldn't hack it.
Nah, that's easy to say, man. That's a cop out, man.
He behaved terribly. Pinning that tweet to the top of his profile is a disgrace.
It's embarrassing,
Absolute
bro.
disgrace.
The way you may think he went about it was the wrong way. And cool, to some degree, he should have just reacted on Twitter and all that stuff. But at the same time, if he's thinking, you know what, this manager's digging me out, I'm probably doing it.
Bro, turn up on time for
He's
training.
rubbish.
Then.
He's rubbish.
But he's turning up.
But Miles, he's rubbish.
It's not even about he's rubbish because you've got
He
players.
isn't rubbish,
There's
though.
players on this list.
Because Anthony was rubbish.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
You've got
Sancho
players
was
that
rubbish
actually
for
turns
United.
up. You've got players.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's turning up
if
on
you don't
training, there's
turn
turning up on a match day. Which one do you rather
Yeah,
do?
but if you can't turn up on the match day, if you're not turning up on training, bro,
Yeah, but
it's that simple. Like, we're going to talk about the culture of the club and the standards at Manchester United when we talk about various transfers, I'm sure. And you kind of said like the culture changed when Pogba or whatever. Bro, if we want to change that culture, we can't accept Sancho turning up late and then going, you know what, Anthony has been crap, so we'll still start you. Well, you know what I mean? You can't accept.
Don't get me wrong, he should be on this list, but I think most of this is I don't think it's all
the
down to
ability,
essentially.
it's the expectation.
It's down to Ten Hag as well, man.
Everything,
It's
bro.
all down
How
to Ten
good
Hag
he
as well.
is. I was disappointed in that, man.
He's a good
especially
player.
when that's the manager that stood by you.
I think it's the manager
Anyway,
more than him.
We've gone on so long on number 9 and 10. Number 8, everyone, go through your 8s.
I've put Kai Havertz number 8, and this is not to Chelsea, it's to Arsenal. I think it's so bad. I think it's taken.
Terrible.
I think it's taken.
So have I.
Can I at least
I've done
finish?
exactly the same.
Because Kai, ultimately, we do football. We do football podcasts, yeah, and obviously Flav's got 7 of them.
We'll see.
I've got the ability, ultimately, as someone that loves football, to talk about football in the future. I think this transfer in the future will be so bad of where it takes Arsenal. It's endemic of Arsenal signing winners from other clubs. It slows their midfield down. He's worse than Granit Xhaka, and he costs 65 million.
And he's cost them the league this year.
And he's a known entity. If you make the second mistake, you're the idiot.
Yep.
Chelsea, they gambled. He was good at Leverkusen. He was good at Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, he's right.
But Arsenal,
Trick me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
Trick me twice, shame on me. Arteta, shame on him. Shame on him. He paid all that money.
Yeah,
he paid all.
I'm
You know, he
gonna
took
hold my lad
£300,000 a week.
I'm gonna-
£300,000 a week, and he is the reason that
but
Arsenal
you're
aren't
worse
going
than
to win the
last
league.
season.
£300,000 a week, and he's the reason that Arsenal won't win the league this year.
They're worse than last season, Boris.
They're
Listen,
worse.
it's funny. It's funny he's saying that now because I swear you had us tipped to win the league at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I
Oh, you
did. I did, and the
So now
reason
it's all
that
changed
but
because
that's
he's in
also
there.
because Saka's been crap, and so's Martinelli. I assume they would keep their
So
standards
he
high.
won't win us the league. So it's all Arsenal won't win the league because of Havertz.
I think part of the reason that you won't win the league, a huge part of the reason, is that your midfield has been threadbare. You spent what, 75 million quid?
But we
65
got a main
million
player.
quid.
What's one of our main midfielders are out?
You had one opportunity to really go for it. You came so close last year. Manchester City have demonstrated a level that suggests they're beatable this season. They've lost a lot of games, and Arsenal aren't top of the league. And the reason they're not top of the league is because they spent their marquee signing in the summer. Their marquee signing in the summer was a Chelsea reject.
Chelsea reject.
Miles, there's so many examples of clubs that come second in the league and they go and sign a big player. The big one for me, Man United, after the Aguero season, what do? They signed Robin van
The
Persie.
season's not. Boys, you're right.
I caught a
so
fly,
childish.
rubbed it into the leg.
They signed Robin van Persie. They won the league next season. Signings can have a massive impact
But the season's
right
not finished
now.
though. The season's not finished, and you're
You're
saying
miles behind Liverpool.
we're not miles behind Liverpool.
They
We're a
are.
couple
They're playing
points off
18.
them.
They're playing 16-year-old kids
You'll
in
be miles
midfield.
behind them when they smash you up on the
It's
wing.
It's all this down to Kai Havertz.
This is all rubbish.
Is this down to Kai Havertz though?
Yes, it's down to Havertz.
Because Kai Havertz.
I agree. I don't
I
think
don't think Havertz can be
It's
on
not.
this
We're a
list
couple
yet.
points. I can
65
flip
mil,
it.
Ad.
I can
Is that
flip it.
chump change?
I can flip it.
65 million.
I can
We're
flip it.
still in
No,
this
Adam.
season.
What's this change down the back of the sofa?
Adam, let me flip it because now we're a couple points off Liverpool and we're a few points ahead of Man City. If it wasn't for Kai Havertz,
more
we'd be
games played.
If it wasn't for Kai Havertz, we'd be further down
Why?
down the league.
Why?
He won us the game against Brentford.
No, but
He
whoever
won
was
us the game
playing, hang
against
on a minute.
them.
If you didn't sign Kai Havertz, you'd have another player on the pitch.
Yeah, Grant
It's not like-
Xhaka.
Yeah, but we still got other players to come back.
No, but you can't go. He won us the game. I
got
mean,
dropped against
I can
Forest.
flip
he
it,
wasn't
though.
there. You wouldn't play with 10 men.
It's not like as if he hasn't
got
done anything for
dropped,
Arsenal.
Miles.
I think he hasn't
He got dropped. He
contributed.
got dropped for Emil Smith Rowe.
It's
that he didn't
rotation.
fancy. He got dropped.
It's rotation.
Are you,
It's rotation.
Are you
He shouldn't be on this
suggesting that he's
list.
been a good signing?
Is
You're putting him on this list
can I
for
just
6
ask,
months.
is it fair
We-
to put him on a signing when he's only been there for 6
months.
months?
Yeah.
He could, like, we could be saying this now, and you both could be clipped up at the end of the season because he scored the winner.
Impossible. It's impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Because it's Kai Havertz and he is
He
a
scored the
total.
winner
in the Champions League
final.
Because I'm not basing it on this period at Arsenal. I'm basing it. You think that this is being based on 6 months in the Premier League?
Yes.
It's not.
No, what
It's
I'm
being
saying
based
is-
on 4 years in the
But
Premier League.
But we've put
4
his transfer
years.
to Arsenal in this list.
No, but I know the man, and he's not going to get better. He's not going to do more than he's done already, and he's been abysmal already.
Ali Dyer was at Southampton for 1 game. He's one of the worst transfers of all time.
Exactly.
Ali Dyer. He's as bad as Ali
I've
Dyer.
potentially got one we might agree on. Calvin Phillips.
He's in my list.
He's in my list.
100%.
He won a treble.
Is he in
That's
your
worse.
list?
He's
in my
worse than
list.
Kai Havertz.
No, he's not.
He's worse than Kai
He's
Havertz.
in
won
my
a
list,
treble.
but I just, and you know what I was saying before about how Bakayoko felt boring and Pogba felt interesting. Torres felt interesting. Calvin Phillips to me, although it's totally legitimate, it's a little bit Winston Bogard. Like, is he on the list? Probably, but it's so insignificant.
No.
It's been so boring. It's so relevant
Calvin
to
Phillips.
football.
You should get into gaming. He's a streamer. He's a
good
streamer.
No, he's a top-level midfielder
No,
in a top 10 club.
You can't.
No, he's not.
you
Yes,
can't.
he is. He plays for West Ham. He played for Leeds United for Bielsa, who came
Yeah, but that's,
mid-table.
yeah, but that's
He's
not
an
the,
England
that's not the
international.
transfer.
And he hasn't played well since then.
We're talking
One
about
game.
Manchester City.
Since
He-
Bielsa.
One game on loan.
He ain't
For
played
God's
well
sake.
since Bielsa.
By the way, you're slagging off someone for getting injured.
I'm
So
not
let's get
slagging.
Owen- Let's get
Oh,
slagging.
okay,
I hope
cool.
you lads are happy with that.
Yeah.
Owen
I'll
Hargreaves.
put Fofana on there. I'll put Fofana on there if you want.
Flav, Owen Hargreaves.
Owen Hargreaves, he should be on there.
Anyone
for
else
sure.
with broken
No, he
legs want to get on
But
there?
All of them.
the difference with Owen Hargreaves is he
scored a
started a
penalty.
European
I love
Cup. He
Owen.
started
I
a
love
European
Owen.
Can
Cup
we just,
final, whereas
just for
Calvin-
the sake of this
And
video
scored
and
a goal
moving
against
on,
Arsenal.
right? Can we
That's
just
miles.
focus on Calvin Phillips for a second?
I don't want
45,
to.
£45 million
Yeah.
to play, what's it, 2 games
And he
of
won
football.
more trophies than you in the last 30
Didn't do
years.
anything.
Now we're
Buvey,
going back
you
to
could have
this again.
played-
This is
He
my
won the
main
treble.
issue.
He played 8
It's not
games at the
about
highest
what
level.
Manchester City did
At the
while he was
highest
at the
level.
club.
Charges to kick in, you know.
He said he played 8 games at the highest level as if he wasn't playing in the Premier League.
Don't stop
anyway.
it. Buvey, just
What's
stop
he
defending
doing?
him.
Come on,
He's
man.
he's
He's- Buvey
stupid.
is
Stop
Is he
defending
top 10 of all time in the league?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Stop.
If he's top 10, then
You're
if
having a
Havertz is
wind-up,
there, he's there.
Flav.
It's stupid.
What's this, the wind-up
Yeah.
podcast?
You know what?
Flav, one of your 7 fucking
I'm the
podcasts.
wind-up. I'm the
You know what,
wind-up.
though,
I'm
Booth?
not being
Booth,
serious.
Booth, we're talking about Calvin Phillips, who was it the Euros or the World Cup where he was like one of the best players.
Player of the
Euros
year
in
for England
England.
2021.
So there was an level
I've
of
ne-
expectation with him.
I've never in my life
A
heard
lot
of
of people were going, Calvin Phillips solves
Buvey.
Arsenal's problems, Chelsea's like.
Have you ever heard, boys? Have you ever heard a manager apologise to a player for not
Playing him.
That's never happened. It's
Yeah?
weird, and that's
Am
why
I
he's on the
saying
list.
to you he's a good signing? No, I'm saying he's a bad signing.
Yeah, but he's
Is
in
he?
the top 10.
He's probably top 30.
Everyone's got him on his
10,
list.
he's
We've all
top 10
got him
right
on the
now.
list.
He's top 10. We've got him
He's
on the
on the
list.
list.
He's there.
Five of these are Man United players easy.
He's
4
on
of them
my
are
list.
Chelsea players, and one of them.
Right,
probably-
who's your 8? You said your 8.
I'll put in Balotelli quickly. Yeah, Balotelli's got to be in there somewhere as
Not
well.
on my list.
What, to Liverpool?
Yeah, Balotelli's in there as well because of the Liverpool
Liverpool,
transfer. 'cause
yeah.
of how good he could be.
Yeah.
Is that your number 8?
That was my 7. I thought we're moving on. Sorry.
All right,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I've
I've
is
got
Kai Havertz.
Anthony.
It's Calvin Phillips.
Anthony's 8. I got Anthony higher.
Anthony
I've got Anthony higher.
We'll talk about Anthony there. Who's your 8?
It's Calvin Phillips. We've agreed.
Okay, mine 8th is Andy Carroll to Liverpool.
Mine was Alexis Sanchez.
Okay, go on. Alexis.
No, we really spoke
Alexis
about
Man United.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, Andy Carroll, because of, wasn't it Liverpool that when the negotiations with Newcastle went, whatever we get for Torres, we'll give you 10 million less or 15 million less or
mad,
something
wasn't
like
it?
that.
It was like-
but they
it was-
did,
it was
and then they
the
signed Suarez with the rest of the money, didn't they?
They did, but buying Andy Carroll,
When-
he came in with weirdly with a lot of expectation at the time,
But for different
because he
kind
had
of-
done well
Yeah.
for Newcastle and all that. And I just remember at the time going, you've sold Torres and you've basically put all the
your
money
money in.
on Carroll.
Yeah.
I thought it was mental.
Yeah.
And,
That
it proved to
trans-
be-
And he was so. Do you remember when he was living with Kevin Nolan? Do you remember he was living with Kevin Nolan?
was, yeah.
And then Kevin Nolan went out to go to work in the morning, and Andy Carroll's Range Rover's just like in flames. Like he got involved with gangsters and stuff. You know, and you're just like, God, I really don't like. I don't think you're a particularly good player. And now I've got gangsters on my driveway.
God.
Like I don't need this
He
in my
scored a
life.
few decent goals for Liverpool.
No,
He
he
won the
wasn't
League
a bad
Cup as
player.
well.
He was a weirdly good player.
It just didn't fit.
Do you know what he would be now? You know how people invent metrics to justify players being good? For example, the chaos that Darwin Núñez ensues. That would be Andy
That's
Carroll.
unfair because Núñez scores goals.
So did Carroll.
Not
Not for
Carroll's a
Liverpool,
good
though.
finisher.
No, not for Liverpool. But
No, but
he was like, mate, in 2012, we went to Kiev and he was our main man.
Yeah.
He was like, it was him and Danny Welbeck.
Yeah,
Like he was England's main man.
He was
like,
unplayable on his day.
There's like we,
Oh my God, how
he's the
far
only-
England have come.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
But there's no need to defend this. There's no Liverpool fan out there that's going to defend this inclusion either, is there?
No.
Yeah, we can just move on pretty quick to
No.
sevens.
Yeah,
mate.
move on
Yeah,
to seven.
there's no need for
Let's
us
do
to defend
sevens.
it.
Who's your
What
seven,
train to
Flav?
catch, you're saying, son?
My number 7 is Torres to Chelsea. We've spoken about it already.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
But number 7 for me is Torres to Chelsea.
Any other different sevens?
We've gone on that.
Mine is Fofana.
Fofana,
Yeah,
big money.
Was it Fofana? I think they expect.
Just because he's injured.
No,
That's harsh.
but it's
To be fair, availability is an
Yeah,
ability in
yeah.
itself.
His knees are made of wheat a bit.
And the
There's no
fact that
potential off the pitch, is there?
you know what it is. You know what it is. More it is. Chelsea got it wrong once again. They could have picked. They could have gone for Saliba instead.
Who's this now?
Fofana. They was at the same club at the same time.
Which Fofana? Both
Although
have been
he
rubbish.
did.
No, the centre back.
It's a leg break,
But
though, isn't
Fofana
it?
will be.
It's
an
a-
excellent-
it's
if
a
he
leg
recovers,
break.
he will be
That's
great.
It's a if. It's a big if.
He's young.
It's a big if. And how many centre backs have you lot bought since then?
But it's the leg break.
Is it Luke
It's-
Nilis
I know,
all
I know,
over
I'm-
it?
the leg,
I know,
the
I
leg
get it.
break. I don't.
I get it, but you
Also,
haven't
do you know
done
if you're going to pick Chelsea centre halves, I reckon you could pick 3 of the current team ahead of Fofana in this list. Like Badiashile's not looking
pick the
great.
whole 11,
Dizazi's looking poor. With Fofana, of course, it hasn't worked. But the geezer had his leg broke. Like his leg was broken.
Yeah.
And like
Oh.
It's like
realistically,
Calvin Phillips with his shoulder, Flav.
No, it's not.
He had a shoulder injury.
Well, look, I would just say that
Fucking Chauskas and his shoulder injury.
I'm not.
It's like Havertz. And his finger injury.
His
brain injury.
yeah,
Guy, he's so slow. Honestly,
yeah, it is. It's that Havertz brain injury. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. Yeah.
I hope to God he's not looking like Petr Cech with a helmet on at the end of the season because we'll look so bad for this. I really hope not. So number 7 for me was Fernando Torres. Number 7 for Rory was
Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips. Number 7 for you was
I had Calvin Phillips at 7.
number 7 for you was you just said it.
I just said, yeah, Fofana.
Balotelli.
Balotelli for you. Can you just give me a few more sentences on Balotelli because I don't think anyone else has got
Not
him.
on my list.
Just based on he was awful, and he had so much talent at Man City. I saw it obviously with Italy as well in the Euros. It was so bad at Liverpool, and he was so apathetic to the club. And if you play for a great club like Liverpool, you have to work hard.
I remember they
How much
played
did they buy him
Tottenham in his
for?
debut.
It wasn't loads. It might have been. I don't know what the
Okay.
fee was, but it
His
like
talent was
Sanchez.
huge.
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
I remember when he come over from
I remember
Italy.
he scored. Do you remember they played Tottenham first day of this? It's weird what you remember. He scored in his debut against Tottenham. There you go.
Number 6.
I've got Veron.
What at Chelsea or Man United?
Man United.
What?
What? No.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not that wild.
Nah, it
It's
wasn't
not
that bad.
top 10 wild.
He was
shout.
unreal in the
that
Champions
wild.
League.
Why is he on the suggested
You both
suggestions?
said
That's
what?
crazy.
Like you're
Don't
both singing from the same
justify
hymn sheet.
about that. Just say shut up,
Well,
Adam.
it's Jack Brain's fault, isn't it?
No, don't blame Jack.
I am blaming
Go
him.
on.
I don't think
No,
it's a
you'd
bad.
have to pick him.
Veron,
Let him explain.
Veron came to Manchester United. This was like a period of Man United's history. It was fantastic. Like you're all conquering, right? And you just thought this geezer's going to be jewelling the crown. He come to a reputation that few do to the Premier League, and he was just shit.
Do you remember that game when you were 3-0 up at half time?
Yeah, 5-3.
He was
with us.
pulling the strings, brother.
That was his only game. So
He
he
was pulling the strings. Also, he was mint in the
What,
Champions
the
League.
5-3 game?
Yeah,
When
he was pulling the
was it
strings.
Veron? Yeah.
Yeah, Veron was
it?
pulling the strings. So I'm glad you brought that up. But also,
But no one else had Veron on the list.
I don't think Veron was a
harsh.
success. Yeah,
Did you?
I don't
think-
think
I
Veron
think
was
you
a
could have-
success.
He wasn't a success. He was a
But you've
player.
also
wasn't
got
the
to look
worst.
at why he wasn't a success. In Europe, he was fantastic for
Ferguson.
Manchester United.
Just
He
couldn't
was
play in the
class.
Premier League.
But Scholes and Keane were playing. He wasn't up against Scott McTominay and Fred.
No,
bro.
but he was a better player than
supposed to be.
those.
Why-
But
in
Scholes and
principle.
Keane were playing.
Why was he bought then?
What?
What was he bought? If he
To,
was
to bring in another option to maybe make us play free.
And he
free
just-
in
He
the
was,
midfield
he was bought
in
to
thingy.
start, man.
Yeah,
he
but-
was
no,
bought
because
to
Scholes,
start.
Scholes could get pushed up front.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was
But one way or the
to
other,
give
he
us another
starts.
option.
Yeah.
But
It's not bad.
He
I
was
think
still
the Veron
pretty good.
shout is. I think the Veron shout is fair,
the
man.
reaction
Fair
wasn't.
shout.
No, I don't know.
was it?
But that's why I
Wasn't
don't know why you
fair
wrote
reaction.
Because
back
he's
on
not
it.
top 10.
Because he was. Because also you could argue that he deserves to be in it because he had a second bite of the cherry at Chelsea, and aside from a debut goal at Liverpool, first goal under the
We
Abramovich
recouped
era.
most of our fee as well, thanks to them. So it's
But-
not that bad.
I'm the
But
only
he
one
had-
with
he-
Veron
he
on
had-
the
I
list.
think
Yeah,
Veron
Veron's
isn't.
Arsenal.
All right.
Also, he was again.
He's a
Do
baller.
you know when you talk about players like it's just more interesting than talking about I don't know Bebe at Man United. Like
Remember
not
that Lazio team? Though?
Like the
That
player that
Lazio
he
team,
was.
Sven.
He was at Lazio, wasn't he?
Was Sven,
At
wasn't it?
Parma.
Yeah,
Was he
yeah,
Parma as
Parma
well?
before that.
Yeah, it was Palmer.
And he was like in terms of like technical ability,
Unreal.
one of the best footballers.
Socks down,
Easy,
couldn't come to the Premier League.
wicked little beard.
Oh, man.
Like,
He
in
was
terms
good,
of
man.
looking like a footballer and
Veron was
being,
good, man.
he was, but he was terrible
but
in the
that's
Premier
why-
League.
Yeah, it
for
didn't
both
work out at Manchester
and
United, but
Chelsea.
I don't think he should be in this list. He's
But I
far
think he
from
was
this
more
list.
Serie A
style
player,
than-
isn't it?
Yeah,
Serie
it
A
was
player.
more
It would be.
style
Do you know
than
what? I don't know. It would be like potentially someone like
Riquelme.
Riquelme comes to the Premier League
Bro.
and struggles.
Yeah, we're gonna get battered for that. People go,
He would have been brilliant. He would have been brilliant. Yeah.
But it's bang on, yeah. But I thought, Veron wasn't a success, but I don't think he's top 10.
All right, I'm not going to die on the hill.
Right, yeah,
No,
that's
but he's
fine.
in your top 10. Wait, why are you so conciliatory? Say, shut up, you get
I don't really care about. I'm not going to like fiercely
Number 6?
defend Veron. I've got a better one than that.
Number 6, or whoever's got number 6 ready.
Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
I've got
Great
Harry
shout.
Maguire 6.
I've got Harry Maguire 6.
Yeah.
I don't have him on the list. I think it's been treated very
Mental.
hardly.
No,
Yeah.
Buvey will agree with you.
Pardon?
Wait, I assume.
No, I think he's a better player than we did give him credit
Is he on
for.
your-
For
he
Man-
won't be
he's
on your
not,
list,
He's
though.
not, but he'd be 11th or 12th.
No,
So,
when
hold on,
Flav
is
said he's
Pogba
not on
on
the
your
list,
list
I
and
said
Maguire's
Buvey
not?
will agree.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So-
Yeah,
Because there've been seasons where Maguire's been decent for Man
Wait, wait,
United, been their
wait,
best
wait.
defender. Yeah, there's been seasons, man.
No,
He's
but
had one
listen,
season, if
Maguire has never looked like an £80 million player.
Never.
And we spent 80
Yeah, but that's
million.
Manchester
not
United.
his
That's your
fault.
No,
fault.
but
It's your fault.
That's not his fault.
No, you can't say it's not his fault.
When he goes out on the pitch,
so
just
when it's
mention-
Maguire, it's not his fault.
Yes, yeah, but
Fucking
when you just
hell.
mention
This is the
Hurts.
problem with this Maguire narrative. It's all
not his fault.
pity party. Let's have a pity party for Maguire.
He's a nice
Man United
bloke.
fans are getting on his back. The geezer turns like an 18-wheel lorry.
Not his
That's
fault.
not his
Yeah,
He's
he
a
turns
good
like
defender.
a
Nah, he's a good
You
defender.
bought him.
He turns like
He's
an
a good
18-wheel
defender.
lorry.
Took your stuff,
Don't
Adam.
buy him
He
in.
has no first touch.
Took your stuff,
He
Adam.
can't defend.
Yes.
He'd be
Not-
happy playing for Burnley, sitting in the 6-yard box.
He does his
Facts.
better than
Heading
Burnley.
crosses out
He's
the
better
He
bench.
than
does his
Burnley.
best. He does his
He
best.
does
does
what
his
he'd be
best.
happy.
That's not
That's all
enough,
you, all
though,
you
fam.
can
Not
ask.
good
All you can
enough.
ask. He
Better
gives
than
100%.
He came in as captain. I remember, I did an interview with him.
All of this is Man
We
United's
didn't
fault,
put it
not
out
Harry
because it was
Maguire's fault.
crap.
So
And also,
glad
I
you said
remember
that.
walking out and going, he shouldn't be Man United captain.
No, you
Like,
shouldn't.
he didn't
that his
have an
fault?
aura.
Is that his
no,
fault?
but he was 80 million
He was 80 million
pounds.
pounds,
He was
man.
an English centre half. Everyone thought he was going to be like our John Terry or something.
His performances for England have been, I would say, 7, 8
He's
out
been
of 10.
best England's best centre back for the last 5 years.
Did England
yeah.
sign him for 80 million pounds? Or did Man United sign
Again,
him for
Man
80 million
United's
pounds?
fault, not Harry Maguire's fault. He shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, but do you think Harry Maguire is one of
Pogba was Man United's fault, not Pogba's fault?
No, Pogba with all his dancing.
Pogba did more for Man United.
Or
than Harry
all his
Maguire.
dancing, all his Adidas deals and all that stuff. He
See,
boosts his value. He's
Pogba's done more for Man United than Harry Maguire will ever do and has ever done.
It's true.
Just
He has,
simple facts
he
as
has.
that.
Yeah, but they
Harry
both come
Maguire's
from different positions. One's supremely talented, the other's just a good Premier League centre half.
Exactly, and we spent 80 million on him, bro.
Shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that.
Should've done
that.
it.
It was a
Who's that?
mistake.
Yeah, so he's not top 10, he's top 15.
We know why
He
you
is
like
top
him.
10. Yeah. I forget England.
It's important.
No,
He's had
England,
good
you
games
can't talk
he's
about
had good
England.
games for Man United. I think he's put.
He hasn't.
He's
Hasn't,
put in
man.
honest performances for Man United.
He's
Some of
thrown
his
under the
players
bus.
have not been
He's been
honest.
thrown under the bus.
Like,
He
for
became-
example, okay.
How many mistakes has he
You go,
made?
he's been good. He's been good for Man United.
Yeah, he's had good games.
This season, people said he was good for Man United before he got injured. Guess what? We conceded 4 against Copenhagen,
Adam,
4 against Galatasaray.
If he,
Fucking
But that's
3
because of
against
Onana, wasn't
Bournemouth.
it?
But
That was
hang on,
Onana.
Maguire-
Guess who was in front of him?
He was in front of him.
Maguire's
Protect the keeper.
Because he can't catch.
Maguire's become
Your keeper can't catch a
a
ball.
Go on, boys.
He's become like a boo boy for the United fan base, merely because
he's
you.
shit.
No, you just needed someone to
What,
blame
like Kelly
you.
Rowland?
Deal
No,
with
but-
the disappointment of what
Need
you
an
become.
enemy.
Yeah,
Need
but
an
no,
enemy.
you can't say that
Yeah,
because he's been
yeah.
there for years. So he's turned himself into an enemy. They didn't just boot him straight
Tell
away. They
them,
gave
Miles.
them time. You gave him time.
turned
You
himself
kept trying
into
to
an
get him to
enemy.
play football. You can't.
Tell him.
He did turn himself into an enemy.
he's not.
It's not his fault.
He's a
Yeah,
decent
okay, and you know
centre
what?
half.
Remember, why am I standing up? Do you remember when he did this?
Come to the
for
mic. Come to the
England?
mic, Aaron.
When he did this to the
Yeah,
camera
against
to Man United.
against
The day
Albania.
he did that.
It's against Albania as
Go
well.
fuck
Like you
yourself.
can't score against
You scored
Albania at
against
Wembley.
some
I love it.
part-time mechanics.
I love it.
Cancelling out the
And you went
haters.
to Man United fans like this.
Just like that.
And Roy
Cancelling
Keane.
out the haters.
That was for
What's
Roy
that?
Keane.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I just scored against
But
Albania at
that's
Wembley in a
because toxic
5-0
Man
win.
United fans were slagging him off every week.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, man.
In a way, I rate that.
And then,
I rate it.
I love
I
it.
rate it.
and then to make it worse, we got 30 million offered for him, accepted, and he wouldn't leave.
Dude, good. He shouldn't leave.
It's his
He's
right
been
to look at a contract and keep it. It's his
Yeah,
right.
yes, he's right. So in the contract,
Because he
much
knows
money.
I'm not going to play anywhere else.
I don't
He
get
played for
why.
West.
Yeah,
He started for Spurs.
I
He's better
really
than
don't
Romero.
get why there's a pity party
He's
around
better than
him,
Romero.
It's not better
and not
than
half of these
Romero.
other
He is.
players
Because
on this
everybody hates him. Everybody
he's
on
not-
this
no,
planet,
there's no
apart from me and
one.
Buvey,
Everyone
hates
hypes him.
Maguire. Maguire, and so we're here to defend him.
Right. He can't defend
than Sean.
himself. So the day he defends himself, I'll
no, but
defend
Sean,
him.
right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's your number 6?
I got Lukaku to Chelsea, £97 million, come off of Inter Milan, all conquering Inter Milan in Italy. Conte's team, playing with Martinez, incredible season there. Goes to Chelsea, and they're like, oh my god!
don't
Not
think
only that, he arrives there and goes, I hate this place.
I personally think
After
that's
about 3 months, remember?
Yeah, he
Remember
did,
him saying,
he
I
did hate
hate
this place.
Chelsea Football Club.
yeah, he did.
He's in my list.
Yeah,
I'm,
my
I'm,
list as well.
I'm not putting Lukaku in this list. The reason why I wouldn't put Lukaku in this list is because I think it was down to the manager more than Lukaku. Because when he did come back then he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know how,
The first game, and it looked great.
You know how we were
Yeah.
just accusing them of making excuses for Maguire? Are you doing this now?
No, I'm not.
you're
Because,
literally doing
this guy is Premier League proven.
Bro,
he's
bro,
not.
bro, but
He's not. He scored over
Can't say
100
you hate
goals
your own
before he
football
even
club.
went to
Bro, after 2 months, he was doing interviews
but
about
United.
Inter.
Yeah.
But 100 million
2
quid.
months he was doing interviews
His heart wasn't
about
in it.
Inter.
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm
You
just
are.
saying, no, I'm not. I'm just saying him going to back to Chelsea was more bad business than anything than Lukaku. Because when he left, he's gone back. He's firing again.
All right,
he didn't want to
same
be
with
here.
Maguire.
Let's talk about personal responsibility.
Maguire
Business.
he hasn't
goes
fired.
to Chelsea.
Maguire's never been on
Not
fire.
once.
He's never been on fire.
Not
What
once.
do you mean he's never been? He's a centre half. What does that mean? He's never been on fire.
Has Van Dijk been on fire?
Four
Has Van
heavy
Dijk been on
clearances a
fire?
game is on fire for a centre half.
Was it?
Don't throw Van Dijk. Don't throw Van Dijk. Van Dijk's
Has
a
Luis
what?
Diaz been on fire?
What do you mean Luis Diaz?
Has
He's not a
Diaz been
centre
on
half.
fire?
What are you talking about?
on fire.
Has Diaz been on fire?
Maguire's
Has
a
Diaz
lump
been
of
on
centre. It's
fire?
like saying it's Gary Cahill on fire.
Has Diaz been on
Gary
fire?
Cahill was once on fire.
Good centre
I
half. So is
remember
Harry
that.
Maguire.
Remember that? He was like,
though.
Lukaku-
on fire. He's a centre half.
What does that mean? He can't be on fire?
Just quickly, has there
Lukaku's
ever
a
been a
striker.
centre back on fire? Can you think of anyone?
Yeah.
Philippe Albert, Newcastle?
Richard Dunn.
Nemanja Vidic won 2 players of the year.
No, I kind of
That's
think
a fire.
Philippe Albert's a shout.
In this video, we've got to talk about personal responsibility. Some of these transfers, it's not the player's fault, etc. Lukaku comes, he's overweight after a few months going to
Wasn't
Chelsea.
overweight.
He was overweight. I'm not saying fat
Pig.
in terms of
He was a
muscle. He
pig.
was overweight. He wasn't fit to play for Chelsea at the highest level. He cost 100 million quid.
He didn't want to be here, man. He didn't want to be here. I spoke to him personally.
Lukaku to Chelsea's on my list.
That's legit.
you-
Legit.
Is it you're not doing the like?
No.
Exclusive.
Nah, I spoke to him legit.
What? And he said, "I hate this place."
Like he said he hated it. He said he hated Lukaku.
Chelsea.
He said Tuchel was, when he was in training, Tuchel was talking to him as if he was a kid, wanted him to train with the under 23s.
Yeah, but this was after the interview.
No, this is why. No. This was during the season.
Why then? It's
Like,
on
why
him.
he
Why did he
happened
accept
during
to
the
go?
season.
Why did he accept to
It
go?
happened during the season. Like Lukaku's my number one.
I knew he was going back to Inter Milan.
I
before
can't
he
believe
went
he's
back to
not.
Inter.
He's not on your list.
Yes, we top 10
The
mark.
number one. It's
But
it's
I
the
don't think
worst
it's-
ever signing.
It's nice to know what people say to you. Does it end up on camera?
Nah, this is gone. Nah, he's gone. He's
100
gone.
mil. What's
He's not
this
even
chump
coming
change?
back. This is the problem as
That's
well.
all.
He'll be
100
coming
million quid.
back.
That's on them. That's
He's
100 mil.
still your player.
He's going to come back.
yeah,
you know how Mourinho's left Roma? He'll come back, won't he?
So there is conversations in some
What,
quarters
is he still a Chelsea player?
of the Tottenham fan base. Yeah.
Pardon?
He's still
sold him
Chelsea.
yet.
So, no,
He'll come
He can
back.
do a job next year. He probably
They're
gets
still
to a
paying
team.
him wages.
Does
still paying him.
Lukaku get in this Chelsea team? Probably does.
You can't put him
he
on.
does.
He does.
He does.
He's
does.
top of the
He
list.
can't get in this list.
Of course,
He can't get in this list.
He is.
And yet he would play for
Mate,
Chelsea
mate,
this season, wouldn't he?
Miles, no, I don't think any signing ever has been as bad as this in terms of the conduct from the player.
He's a genius. You're still paying him.
He's not. Yeah.
You think he's a genius? He's in Italy living life.
Wait,
winning
but forget
trophies.
that. We can't use
But
that. We can't use the pet he's getting. Otherwise, Alexis Sanchez is a genius.
No, but you're not still paying him.
But we were for a long
Wait.
time when he was in Inter.
But this
he
doesn't
won a
make it a good
trophy.
signing. would
For
it?
Inter, not us.
It's a
With
bad
Lukaku.
signing, Miles.
Sometimes.
No.
Whether we're still paying him or not, it makes it a bad signing, right?
It's still
And
a
that's
bad
what we're
signing.
kind of working out here. Not is he a genius?
Lukaku's in my list.
Is it a good signing?
I'm
or is
going
it a
more on
bad
the player.
signing?
The player, I don't think it was bad because as soon as he left you lot, he went back to firing again.
We won the Champions League without him.
Yeah.
No, he is poor.
Oh, with who? What player was in that team?
Without him.
But what team? What player did win the Champions League for you?
Well, there was a squad of
There we go.
23.
No, that's
I
it.
don't
It's
even
done.
know what you're talking about.
No. But Kai Havertz makes this list, yeah?
Yeah, but I said for Arsenal.
Right. Has everyone done their 6? I love Rory's face right now. Has everyone done their 6?
He's thinking of something.
Yeah,
I put in Angel Di Maria. We have to very
yeah,
quickly.
Di Maria 5th I had.
Di Maria is close.
He's not on
Roy and
mine.
I agree on that one. Can't
Di
forget
Maria's
Di-
not on my list. The reason why is because we got all of our money back for him when he went to PSG.
Okay, fair enough.
And he never wanted to
But
come
when he
to us.
arrived, mate, you got to talk about. You can't talk about the finances in that regard because it doesn't matter if he left for £1 billion or whatever. When he played for Man United, he was so
He
poor.
started also the first 3 months he was class.
Weird, man.
The goal against Leicester City. That was decent.
unreal.
I just
yeah.
don't think it was.
But
Sometimes.
the drop off is so bad. I think you have to put him in.
No,
there.
I think I wouldn't argue with him being in here.
Yeah.
You won the
It's just the
Champions League
reason why
season
I
before.
didn't do
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Because it didn't last long. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
very
yeah.
short and sweet, and he just
Just
he didn't want to join United. He came.
The chip against Leicester City.
His house got robbed. His wife was unhappy.
some players
he left.
just don't fit for the team. That's it. Because after that was a slight blip in his career, and he's gone back to doing what he's doing.
5th.
We already spoke about this 5th person.
We've got
Torres.
Veron. I've been talking about Lukaku.
Lukaku.
Lukaku to Chelsea's 5th for you.
Yeah.
I've got
Raw.
Fernando Torres.
Oh, Fernando Torres.
Yeah, we already spoke about him.
Oh, yeah, I've spoken about mine. I had Di Maria.
Number 5 for me was Fofana to Chelsea, just because of the price and he's not played. Number 4, lads.
That's Pogba for me.
Mudryk for me. Mudryk's so bad, man. He's such a bad footballer. I think with Caicedo's gone for a
It's
similar
just
amount of money,
too
and
premature.
I can see that it's not. Sometimes in football's a very easy sport. You look at their technique, and you think if he's 21 years old and his technique's that bad, he'll never. A tiger never changes their stripes.
I'm
Whatever
with you,
saying
Buvey.
is.
It's a leopard and spots.
It's a tiger.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a badger. No, yeah,
I
a
like-
skunk
I like when
never. A
they-
skunk never
when-
changes.
when-
his
when-
stripe.
as I was
when he got
saying
to
it,
the
man.
end of the sentence, he
Tiger
said, "Oh,
never-
whatever."
The tiger never what?
Bad
Although
Have you ever seen a
weirdly-
tiger without stripes?
But do you know what?
Same
Buvey,
principle.
not necessarily the analogy, but I agree. Mudryk is also my fourth.
Is he?
He'll never be
He's
world
terrible.
class.
He'll never be. He'll never
touchy.
be. He'll
He
never be
hasn't-
a Premier League player at the level that we need him to be a Premier League.
Will he
player.
not?
No,
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. I told
He
you
missed an
about
open
Timo
net 2
Werner.
days
I
ago.
told you about
Missed an
McKola
open
Mudryk.
net.
Timo Werner's absolutely fine. Don't you know that he's 3 assists
Won't
and 3
score any
games? Is that
goal.
good?
Look,
I don't know. It sounds good.
He won't score any goals.
Do you
is the
agree he's
point.
on this list, Mudryk?
Mudryk's on the same position, fourth.
Okay, cool, fair enough.
Mudryk ain't in my list.
He's not on my
which
list.
is weird because maybe he should be.
90
Yeah,
mil,
should
mate.
be.
90 mil, ad.
Yeah, maybe.
Also,
he
do you
should
remember
be.
all the fanfare?
Hasn't
You have to
done
bring
enough.
that into account.
Yeah.
The fact that we like really
Mixed
had
him
that
off
race
Arsenal.
with Arsenal. We apparently made them look really foolish. We overpaid drastically. We flew to Poland to massively overpay.
Mudryk would probably have done better for Arsenal than he has
Yeah,
done
possibly.
for
We
Chelsea.
don't know that.
Yeah, possibly.
No, I don't
But
think.
I
possibly-
agree with that.
Just making an assumption.
But he possibly
Just
does
on the
worse
pure-
than Trossard's
But
done
it's like
and
saying
doesn't get
Andy
the team.
Carroll would have done better for Stoke than Liverpool.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
No,
Suited.
Mudryk will not be a Premier League player at the level that is needed.
For your
He's
club.
championship.
Yeah, at the level that we need him to be.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
might be a Premier League player for a club that is hoping to make it into the top
You never know.
8.
No,
he's
no
not
one,
even
no
that
one's
big.
looking at
He's not
Mudryk and
that.
go, I want to buy him, is he?
Yeah, he's not a good player.
He wouldn't start for
so
Luton Town.
5 was 4
Four
was
was
Mudryk,
Mudryk.
5 was
5 was Di Maria for me.
I had Pogba 4.
4. We've kind of spoken about Pogba.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Phillips to City.
Mine was Andy Carroll.
50 mil, 2 games. Jeez.
Yeah, terrible.
Andy Carroll.
Yeah, Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll was up there. Just for the pure fact that he spoiled the whole transfer market in football.
I think a lot of people watching this, because they'll be a bit younger than us, like didn't live through that transfer, will be like, what are you talking about?
35 million.
35 million. Like, you're talking about Andy Carroll.
That was a lot of money.
It was
It was a lot of
It was
money.
also at the time a symptom of how Liverpool were being run.
Yeah.
The Liverpool you know of now wasn't that. And when they sold Torres, who was the best number 9 in Europe, and then bought in Andy Carroll, everyone was like Andy Carroll done well at Newcastle. Be like, this isn't going to work, and it played out that way.
Yeah. Next up, I've got.
Wait, did you do your 4th, Booth?
Yeah, I said Mudryk was
Sorry.
Rory. Yeah.
So next up, I've got Alvaro Morata at 3.
Oh,
Number 3.
Have
Wow,
you ever
yeah.
known a player to generate so much money as he
I know.
did and be absolutely dog water?
Everywhere.
I don't think
Everywhere
Morata's
he
a
goes.
bad player. I think he's a very, very good striker.
He's
generated
terrible.
No,
about
it's funny at the time, he
250
turned
million
up
pounds in
striker.
transfer fees.
he turned up at Chelsea with red
Very
hair
good striker.
because he thought he was signing for United.
Striker?
Did he? He's
He had like red dye in his hair still.
really?
And it looked brown because he'd probably washed it
Billy.
out. But like, you could tell. He thought
Morata's
he was
shocking,
Morata
man.
weren't bad though.
He's
yeah,
third
but-
on, he's
but
third
yeah,
on my
you know what?
list.
Terrible.
Chelsea, yeah, for Chelsea he was bad.
Terrible.
He was bad at
Absolutely,
Chelsea, actually.
absolutely
There's
woeful.
something was
But he gets
going on. I
goals.
don't want to throw the club
Where?
under the bus.
Hang
There's
on,
no
let
legal
Flav
issues.
go, like-
I don't want to throw the club under the bus. There's no legal issues. If I say this is my views only. But what was going on? How did these agents get him that many big moves with that amount of money, Jack?
Because he is a talented footballer.
He is. He gets goals, man.
But he's not a
worth-
Premier League
He ain't.
footballer.
The
Like he's doing well right now.
Yeah, but the
Juventus.
clubs.
He's doing well right now.
Juventus,
isn't he?
Juventus, Chelsea,
Atletico Madrid.
Real
Madrid.
Did he play for
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Did
He's
he
got a great
Munich?
CV.
Did he ever do
No,
Munich?
no.
Don't
No, he
know
never
his
did
Man
name.
United
Got
wanted
a
him.
great CV.
Even that. What was going on? That agent is an absolute. Who is it?
He is a terrible Premier League striker.
Yeah,
like
yeah, I agree with
terrible.
that. He played
Do
for-
you know what he is as well? Do you know like one of the worst words I think you can use about a footballer? Certainly something that a fan will never empathise with. Coward. Coward. So soft. You know, like he was terrified of a 50-50.
skinny,
Not
wasn't
50-50. 70-30 in his favour, he wouldn't want it.
It's crazy. He's got 13 goals in 20 appearances from the top of my memory. So it's crazy, man.
No, he was one of the definitely one of the most frustrating.
He's killing it this year, by the way. I
No,
just
no,
checked.
he's a kid. He's
I just said that flat. Did you? So
Yeah.
what else?
Do you not listen to anything I
He's a
say,
good
mate, over there?
striker.
You got your head on your
20 this year.
podcast.
He's just a crap Premier League striker.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. You got
know,
Chelsea.
one of them
Chelsea
two.
do bad business, man.
3 for me is Lukaku to Man United. We don't have to cover it. It's the same issues. Again, I think overweight in terms of wasn't ready to play for Man United in terms of his speed and his athleticism wasn't there. He wasn't. Was he too big at Man United in terms of his weight? I'm not saying he's fat.
No, he
he was just,
wasn't. He's a
kind
big
of,
guy.
he did a Memphis kind of thing where
he's not. He was
he
leaning
put weight
into.
on. Yeah,
He chose to lean
there
down.
was a
when he
lot
won.
of talk about his in Italy he had the right dietitian and all
He
the
did
other
though.
food.
It's
And
nice. That's nice living.
but bro, you're making 250 grand a week. Get a chef.
Yeah, why can't
It's really not that hard.
Romelu was
Our
cool,
backup
man.
goalkeeper's got his own chef and all that
For
right
me,
now.
he's-
He don't even play football.
Do you remember when he left Everton? He was the best player. He was amazing at West Brom. He was amazing at Everton. Incredible at Everton. And then he goes to Man United. Everyone thought he was going to win the league at Man United. Everyone did. He was amazing. I love
He was good at Man
Lukaku.
United as well.
And you know what
he
was
wasn't
mad?
an eight,
I'd
he
spent
wasn't.
like 2 years going, I really want Lukaku at Man United.
He was good at Man United.
He wasn't good at Man United.
He
had
was,
good
man,
spells. He
wasn't.
scored 16 goals. He's not on my list, but he's on Buvey's list,
Fair
and
enough.
I can't argue with it.
Mine was Paul Pogba. So we've moved
Number
on.
3.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me was Lukaku to Chelsea, just because of the price, and then that interview.
I got Anthony to United.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit.
All right.
My 3 was Morata.
Morata.
I've already done. Yeah, my 3
sorry.
was Morata.
Number 2, lads.
Pogba, but you've obviously covered it.
I'm playing by my own rules on a number 2,
Go on.
just because it's current and I want to.
Same. I'm gonna switch mine.
Mauricio Pochettino to Chelsea.
He didn't transfer from anywhere.
How do you
did he?
feel
He
about him?
transferred
From where?
from Tottenham.
The market.
His
The
heart
free
was at
market.
Tottenham.
How do you feel about him? One
I
word.
hate him. Hate. Despise. I really hate him.
Can I just do Raw?
Pochettino.
Before people go at home, Rory's saying he's hating him.
I do hate him.
Do you mean it?
Yeah.
What the word?
I
Hate.
actually hate him.
That's a lot.
What's the OED say for hate? What's the...
Despise
My
someone
mom
else.
says a bad word.
But is it? Are you allowed to hate?
I still hate people.
Okay, if I'm not allowed to hate in the
You are
modern
allowed
world,
to hate.
Despise.
despise sounds even stronger.
Strongly
Yeah, that is
dislike.
strong,
Strongly
yeah.
dislike everything about him.
No, I hate. I'm sticking with
Yeah,
it.
stick
Right,
with
yeah,
it.
that's
fair
fine.
Hate's the
So
perfect word.
that's my number 2.
My 2's Pepe to Arsenal.
That's terrible.
That's not. He was shit.
That's
He
terrible.
was so bad.
No, he wasn't.
What?
Ours wasn't.
He was bad.
He was a match winner.
Where
was a
is
match
he?
winner.
Where is he
Scored
now?
goals.
Against Lech Poznan.
I don't care where he was. I don't
Mars,
care,
where-
I don't care where he was now. Where he is now, I don't
You
care.
don't even know.
I don't care. I don't
Because
care.
he's-
When he played for Arsenal,
What
he was a
match
good
did he
player.
win? What
And
match
the only
did he
reason
win?
why you're saying that is because of the value.
What
Why
match
isn't
did he
he?
win?
Yeah, that's a massive
You know
part.
why I didn't say Pepe?
But why isn't he?
I
there?
remember him winning a match against United and thinking his big crap.
What was that?
he's
Like
still-
6 years ago? Is he still on? Is
I mean,
he's
that's
gone-
when he was there.
He's
Isn't
still on the
like
loan.
everybody? There's no need to defend him just because he played for Arsenal.
But he shouldn't be on this list though, and he shouldn't even. And if he is going to be on your list, he shouldn't be second.
He's on the
75
list.
mil.
And the only
mate.
reason why you're putting him second is because because of the fee.
No,
That's
and-
the only reason why.
It's a transfer video, and it's transfers.
And he's
It's transfers. It's
The money's relevant. If all these players were free, it'd be
The
different.
money is
But we're
relevant.
not talking
£70
about
million.
talent,
You
though.
looked at him, you go, "Oh my god, what have
He
we
got
done?"
the
You
talent.
must have looked at him,
Yeah,
and gone,
because-
"Oh my
yeah.
god, what have we done?"
He was rubbish.
No, he
had
wasn't
our-
rubbish. He
we've had
wasn't
our
rubbish.
pants
He
pulled
wasn't
down.
rubbish.
He's
He wasn't
3/4
rubbish.
of a
I don't
100
think he
million
should be on
quid
this
for
list,
that.
and definitely not this high. But he
shouldn't-
was rubbish.
He shouldn't be this high. No way. And he wasn't
Right.
rubbish. He won us.
He was rubbish.
He won.
Yeah.
No, he
I
wasn't.
wanted
He
to
won
put him
us.
number one. I wanted to put him number one.
He's won games for Arsenal by himself.
Well,
He's been
who?
loads. He's been a
Norwich
match winner for
City.
Arsenal. No, not Champions League, European nights.
You know my
Europa
number
League.
one.
What, Europa
Champ-
League?
You know my
Europa
number
League,
one.
Europa League
Scored
match.
two free kicks.
I don't
back to
talk.
back.
Personally, I don't talk about the Europa League. That's my thing. I
okay,
don't
cool.
talk about. I
There you
don't.
go.
I don't. I don't. I
He'll
don't
be
talk about the
craving
Europa
for it
League.
when the 150
Why not talk about
I
Thursday
don't
night football?
recognise the legitimacy of this European competition.
Yeah, okay.
You'll have
Yeah,
to-
exactly.
I can't wait till you have to say that about the
You
championship
can't say
next year.
match winning because you know my number one on this list has won a high profile match.
Who is it? Who is it?
But we'll get it when we get
We
it.
go in. I thought we'd go in there.
No, we've got. I haven't done my
Am
two
I,
yet.
What's his number two?
am I the only one that had
Kepa.
Pepe on there?
Kepa.
Kepa Arrizabalaga is my number two. 72 million pounds for a keeper. He refused to
Pepe,
get
if
subbed.
If
That was
Pepe was
bad.
doing, if
That was
Pepe
bad.
was,
He was on my list.
if Pepe
I've
was
done
doing
wrong
what
here.
he's doing now in this era,
Oh, because I brought Pochettino in.
Yep.
He was my number 2. He was my number 2, but I just wanted to talk about Pochettino.
my-
Kepa Arrizabalaga gets an honourable mention at number 2 for me. as well.
75 mil.
Yeah. Also, do you want to hear something mental? He'll be back at Chelsea in the summer.
He's still on the books.
Imagine if they both start. You need the experience to be
Yeah,
fair.
he'll be back because he's not it's not working for him at Real. He'll be back. When we signed him, it was a world record fee for a keeper. He was following in the footsteps of Thibaut Courtois. We put him on a 7-year contract.
Yeah.
This is definitely possibly number 1. It's not my number 1,
Yeah.
but it could easily be number 1.
And you kind of, as soon as you saw him, because the name was kind of...
Yeah, because of about my height.
When you saw him, you're like, is he going to be able to do it in the Premier
No,
League?
he was. And then the other thing is, look at some of the performances. Not only the way that he performed, being beaten at his near post all the time. There was a goal actually. It was quite funny with hindsight. Manchester City scored against us. Jack Grealish rolled it across the area. I can't remember who put it in, but Grealish in his post-match interview, he went, "Yeah, I didn't play the ball across particularly well. I thought the keeper would get it." Weird, he didn't. Yeah, do you remember who scored? I can't think who scored it. But Grealish rolls it across, and he just really openly goes, "That keeper should have picked it up," and he didn't. And then obviously, I can't be bothered to go into it because it's so ridiculous. But the way that he didn't recognise and respect
Yeah,
the
so-
office of Chelsea manager, even if you don't respect the manager themselves. A little bit like what I was saying about Jadon Sancho and Ten Hag. It's not about Ten
Same
Hag,
with
is it?
Pogba and
It's about
Mourinho.
exactly. It's not about Ten Hag. It's about the office of Manchester United manager.
But this was in the cup final, right?
During a game
During the cup final. So sorry, is it sorry?
Sorry.
Wanted him to come off, and he was like,
Sorry, subbed him, and he said no.
It was basically done
and
that.
then he had the cheek to stay in goal, face 10 penalties, and miss them all, and then concede them all,
Isn't it mental?
and then
that-
miss the one.
Isn't it mental that
Even
when
Sterling
a sub
scored.
gets made, the ref don't go, hold on, you've got to come off. Like,
It
I
should
find
be-
that mental, by the way.
It-
But, who's your number 2?
It was Pepe that I had number
Pepe?
2. Yeah.
That's mental.
It's not mental.
Everyone's 2s
Yeah, yeah.
been said?
Yeah,
This
said
was,
it.
no, I haven't said my number 2.
Go on.
My number 2, I'm going to switch it. And I thought about it. Enzo Fernandez. And I've stood on this.
You've brought that up.
And I've no, because no,
That's because you said about Pepe. You didn't like
No,
that.
no,
You're
no,
getting
forget Pepe.
personal now. That end of the
no,
table,
no,
man.
no. And I've stood on this.
I
I've said this
don't like
before.
Fernandes. It doesn't matter.
He agrees with
He
you.
is rubbish. He's
I
rubbish.
wouldn't put him on a list, but
Why-
I
why?
don't like him.
No, he's good.
Well, taking the fee into consideration, like Flav
Shit.
and his point.
You've wound miles up.
No, because
Pepe's
I've said,
shit.
no, it's not even- I've
Pepe's
said this
terrible.
before.
Shit, he's
I've
shit.
said this on the club, and I've said this on Filthy. He's terrible. What Chelsea expected to get from him, he's not doing anything for Chelsea.
He
better
would
than
have
Caicedo,
done
isn't he?
more for Chelsea in his career than Pepe ever did for
what's
Arsenal.
that? What's that?
Come on, flat.
Well, do you not think? No, he will do.
yeah.
He will do.
He wouldn't.
too early
I
saying that.
guarantee you,
Pepe
Enzo
scored a winner.
Fernandez doesn't even win a
He
trophy.
will
for
do.
the-
He
for
will
Chel-
do,
for
though. He
Chelsea.
will do.
He doesn't. I guarantee you, Havertz wins a trophy before Enzo Fernandez does. He's not going to win a trophy for Chelsea, and they spent 100
I mean,
million on him.
he's already in a final,
I
so
don't
he's
care.
already
I don't
winning.
care.
He's
You're not
already.
gonna win.
He
You're not
could, but
gonna
he's
win it.
already. He's already
You're not
been more
gonna win.
successful at the club.
You're not going to win.
We're in a final. You're not.
we're getting to a
But he's
final.
They could
already
beat
in a
them.
final.
You're not gonna win it.
But isn't that like Buvey going, Calvin Phillips won a treble?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he played those games.
No, but
man.
Enzo Fernandez is
Yeah, but
playing.
you said that
Cam
about
Phillips
Torres.
isn't playing.
You said that Torres counts because he won a Champions League there, so he was a good
Chelsea.
signing. He was a good signing.
Yeah, Champions League, bro.
Yeah, this
he
doesn't matter.
didn't do
Right,
anything.
right,
And he
right,
scored, he
Fernandez,
scored.
who's yours?
He's rattled about that. He doesn't.
My,
like
No, I just
my
wanna go
number
home.
2 was kept. Everyone's on their 2s.
Yeah, we've done our 2s.
Right,
We've got to go into 1, surely.
go.
My number 1 is the worst player I've ever seen in a Manchester United shirt. We spent £80 million on him when we could have got him for 20 million a few weeks earlier. He's a winger who slows the pace down of every game, loses the ball, can't beat his fullback, hasn't got any skill even though he's Brazilian, which is weird. Like, show me a step over, show me something.
That's
It's
if you got-
Anthony. The guy's useless,
Yeah,
bro.
he's rubbish.
I thought you were talking about Richarlison.
And also, he's just useless.
yeah, he is useless. He's
He's just
mental. It's
useless. I
crazy.
can't stand him.
It's crazy.
He's got no redeeming factors about
It's
him.
not his fault that he spent that much money on him, and a massive that for me is the biggest red
It's
flag.
Glazonomics.
No, it's
Ten
Ten
Hag.
Hag.
It's Ten Hag.
Don't try and insulate Ten
It is
Hag.
Ten
from
Hag.
the
The
criticism.
reason I say Glazer because he wanted it at the start of the window. We could have got him for 30 million.
Oh, right.
And no, he's not on this list if we get him 30 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's your number 1?
it was Torres,
Fair.
but Anthony.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anthony, I'll agree
Anthony
with
for
you.
me as well.
Yeah, Anthony.
I've gone Lukaku.
To Chelsea.
Lukaku to Chelsea, worst ever signing.
Why is he Chelsea's worst ever signing?
Cost £100 million, came in as the man to take us from a very good team, a team that won a European Cup, but to now go and win the league. Started very well. He was actually the key factor. He played very well in the first few games that we played. He then decided to go off and have and be part of an unsanctioned interview with Sky Italia, launch a grenade into Stamford Bridge effectively, and blow it up. It's incredibly disrespectful to his teammates, to the people that were paying for him, to the fans that were chanting his name the week before. And ultimately, he is Chelsea's worst ever signing, and I believe he is the worst ever signing of the Premier League era.
He could have been a success as well if he doesn't kill the goodwill towards him from Chelsea fans, isn't it?
It could-
No, if he keeps the fans on side. If you have a head-to-head with your manager, it's different because the fans kind of back you sometimes.
Yeah, he didn't.
Still.
He didn't want to be there though. He just wanted to
No,
go
he
back to
didn't want to be
Inter.
there.
I think he
It's
felt
weird.
like he just wanted to
So
go back
early.
to. He just wanted to go back to Inter.
Yeah.
And it was down to the manager. Down to the manager was a big part of him going. He wanted to go back to Inter. Didn't like Tuchel at all.
But have some respect. Tuchel's won a European Cup. You fat idiot.
He wasn't calling you a fat idiot.
No, I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
That wouldn't make any sense.
He came in. He came into
not fat.
he came into the team that were European champions. He came into a team that were champions of Europe, and then he's got the hump with the manager.
Yeah, it's
Who do you
mental.
think you are?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's mental. It's mental. Unless he was given promises that weren't lived up to. But that is our top 10 worst Premier League transfers ever.